Transmitting from the Mojave Wilderness in Joshua Tree, California, now is the time for Desert Oracle Radio, the voice of the desert.
Night has fallen on the desert, cold and windy on this holiday weekend. I was glancing at the news this morning and there were the usual stories about people going to, I guess not shopping malls, wherever people go. What replaced shopping malls? And I realized I've never been to a mall or big box retailer or any such place that day after Thanksgiving, I don't think ever in my life. Or on most other days of the year. Not for fun, anyway. When I was a teenager, one of my early jobs was working at this cheese shop in a mall. Back when people loved malls, when people would go to a shopping center and just spend the whole day there. Teenagers especially, very strange. Especially because teenagers generally did not have any money to spend at the mall. So the security guards, hardly more than teenagers themselves, were always trying to chase off the teens. And you'd see older people walking back and forth. You'd see people pushing baby strollers with babies inside the stroller instead of a dog. Lots of babies. Seems like everybody used to have some. The cheese store sold gift boxes which people would buy to mail to other people. Everything inside the box was so packed with preservatives, tremendous amounts of salt, mostly. So it would presumably be safe to eat a month later at Christmas time. For an extra charge, we would ship the cheese and sausage box anywhere in the USA. So after the shop closed, I'd be in the stockroom handwriting UPS labels in triplicate for these terrible gift boxes. For a while, I was dating a girl who worked at the Baskin Robbins down the way. I'd come by after work and she'd say, "Let me go change out of this uniform." And I'd say, "Oh, I don't mind. I'm not changing out of my work clothes." And she'd say, "Well, your work clothes are normal. I'm wearing an orange striped miniskirt." Which looks fantastic, I'd say. And then she'd change anyway and we'd drive off into the American night. Sometimes we'd stop by my friend's house in El Cajon, some of the oddballs I'd met here and there. A couple of these guys lived in the converted garage behind this guy John's grandmother's little house, I think. I never saw the grandmother. I'd always bring a big order of rolled tacos with guacamole from the Albertos. You could get 24 for $6, I think. All piled up like the Dickens. My buddies would always have cheap beer and hot coffee and some trucker pills and all kinds of weird videotapes playing with the sound turned off. And punk rock records blasting or some old jazz LPs. Very bohemian for El Cajon. Turns out Lester Bangs lived right around the corner from there a couple years earlier. I have 10 bonus questions which are not from the internet, which are not from the trivia machine. So don't feel bad if you don't know.
Have a trivia machine?
There's a trivia machine back here somewhere. I'm just going to hold this paper by the fire. This is going to be question 1. All these questions are related to the Mojave Desert around us, more or less. Number 1, question 1. Known as the Apostle of the Cacti, this advocate for the creation of desert national parks was named after this ancient Roman goddess. Once again, known as the Apostle of the Cacti, this advocate for the creation of desert national parks was named after this Roman goddess. Question 2, are we ready? This poet, who died in Paris, made a 1969 art film called Highway in and around Joshua Tree National Monument. This poet, who died in Paris, made this 1969 art film called Highway in and around Joshua Tree National Monument. Was everybody local here?
Yeah.
It's okay if you're not.
Halves easily.
That's good. That's good. So these will be easy questions for people who've lived here a long time or been coming here a long time, or who have a copy of these answers. Question 3, if we're ready. The originally proposed name for the 1936 National Monument straddling the Mojave and Colorado deserts was... The originally proposed name for this 1936 National Monument straddling the Mojave and Colorado deserts was this. Question number 4 of the bonus round. While our local monstrosity is known as Yucca Man, the monster of Anza Borrego Desert State Park is called... And yet,
I forgot already.
Knowledge is fleeting.
It's true.
Question number 5. The cover for this 1980 debut album by an acclaimed Los Angeles punk rock band features their name on fire, photographed in the Mojave Desert.
I know this one. Don't worry. I'm redeeming myself.
The cover for this 1980 debut album by the acclaimed Los Angeles rock band features their name on fire, photographed in the Mojave Desert. It's question 6, if you're ready. This TikTok singer, not a singer on TikTok, but the singer of the song TikTok, claims that she saw flying saucers over Joshua Tree. All right. Are we ready for the 7th question? One of the last great vocalists of the jazz and standards era. She retired and lived out her life on her horse ranch in Pioneer Town. One of the last great vocalists of the jazz and standards and R&B era. She retired and lived out her life on her horse ranch in Pioneer Town. Question number 8. These big-eared creatures migrate from the San Bernardino Mountains to the high desert every winter. These big-eared creatures migrate from the San Bernardino Mountains to the high desert every winter. Number 9. Are you ready for 9?
Yep.
You know, in sports trivia, people are screaming the whole time, and you're all like you're taking your citizenship test.
Different music playing too.
That's true. That's true.
Less jock jams.
We need to put on some Huey Lewis and the News.
All right.
We get some pennants going up there. Number 9. Oh, I can't do that one. Sorry. I'll make up a number 9. This Christian megachurch has long controlled Yucca Valley civic politics. This Christian megachurch has long controlled Yucca Valley civic politics.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's the only one I know the answer to.
Is why there are no dispensaries here. The whole in and out thing just sounds dirty. You can't have that.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too suggestive.
Right, we can't have nice things.
Even with John 3:16 on the underside of the French fries box.
It's not enough.
I don't know.
It's not enough to combat.
Can't cover the sin.
Yeah.
All right, we have one more.
I was like,
This aircraft safety inspector moved from Venice Beach to the subterranean lair of his road-cutting friend in Landers, who died in a shootout with San Bernardino sheriff's deputies. So we're looking for the aircraft safety inspector, not the person he replaced who died in a shootout with San Bernardino sheriff's deputies in an underground lair in Landers. And such are the questions. Thanks for coming to Trivia Night.
Do we need any repeats?
7 and 10. Thank you.
One of the last great vocalists of the jazz and standards era. She retired and lived out her life on her horse ranch in Pioneer Town. That was 7. And you also want 10? This aircraft safety inspector from Venice Beach, California, moved into the subterranean lair in Landers, where his friend died in a shootout with San Bernardino sheriff's deputies. Has the time come? The time has come to trade your. But who actually knows the answers to any of these questions?
Guess we'll find out.
So this is less of right or wrong
I definitely know 5.
than convincing the people who grade your score.
Oh, so it's like a debate tournament.
All right, let's
Oh, I can
trade
debate.
and grade.
I don't know if I'm wrong. I can debate.
And that's what we all want, especially at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I'm probably the only vegan here, so I can debate.
Now we're going to do the answers for the bonus round. They're going to be 3 points per question. Okay, everybody, 3 points per question.
All right, let's see here. Number 1. The answer for the question known as the Apostle of the Cacti, this advocate for the creation of desert national parks, was named after this ancient Roman goddess. Who knows it?
Minerva.
Yes, Minerva. Minerva Hamilton Hoyt is considered the founding spirit of Joshua Tree National Monument and now Park. Named for the goddess, who is also the only goddess we're allowed to openly worship in California. It's on every state seal, even on the CHP cars. There's a Minerva. So think of how that's interesting when you're shot by the police. A real step forward. Number 2, the poet who died in Paris, who made the 1969 art film called Highway in and around Joshua Tree National Monument. Anyone?
Jim Morrison?
Yes, James Morrison. Wrote and co-directed the film, which went into the San Francisco Film Festival in 1970 and was booed by the kids. He was so sad he moved to Paris and died. Number 3, the originally proposed name for the 1936 National Monument straddling the Mojave and Colorado deserts. Anyone? Desert Plants National Monument.
Desert Plants.
That was the first name. Desert Plants. It's a terrible name. It's a terrible name.
They didn't workshop that one.
They sent it back.
Yeah,
Let's do better.
get some rewrites.
Number 4. While our local monstrosity is known as Yucca Man, a 7-foot-tall, holographic, red-eyed monster that haunts people on the marine base and at campgrounds, etc. The monster of Anza Borrego Desert State Park is called, anyone?
Borrego Man?
Very close. You're so close.
Anzo Man?
Is called the Borrego Sandman. First sighted in the second gold rush that went down the mountains into Riverside and San Diego County and tied up in the notorious legend of Pegleg Smith.
Peg legs.
Yes, who supposedly found a gold, not even a mine, He said there was so much gold that you could pick it up like rocks off the sand. And yet no one ever found it, and he did not die wealthy. Number 5. The cover for this 1980 debut album by a Los Angeles rock band features their name on fire photographed in the Mojave Desert. Who knows it?
I do. X.
Is X, Los Angeles. The owner of the record label, the co-owner of the record label, made a 2x4 X, took it out to the desert, poured gasoline all over it, set it on fire, took some Super 8 or 16 millimeter film shots of it, and they picked a frame for the record cover, which looks like it has a face in it. It's very, very spooky. All right, number 6. This TikTok singer, not a singer on TikTok, but the singer and writer of the song called TikTok, says she saw flying saucers over Joshua Tree. Anyone? Yes, it's Kesha.
Who did say they loved my boyfriend.
Of course, she said it at the end of the song, right? She's got a song where she says at the end, "I like your beard." Yeah. What, did you fight her?
I would. She backed off.
That's good. We got to keep these celebrities in their place when they visit. Number 7, one of the last great vocalists of the jazz and standards era. She retired and lived out her life on her horse farm in Pioneer Town. Anyone? Nancy Wilson. The great jazz and soul vocalist Nancy Wilson lived in Pioneer Town for 25 plus years. She passed away 3 or 4 years ago. She also ran a Girl Scouts camping program off her ranch. They went hiking into what is now Sand to Snow National Monument. All right, we're almost done. Number 8. These big-eared creatures migrate from the San Bernardino Mountains to the high desert every winter. Who are they?
Joshua Springs?
No. Question.
We're not there yet. The Joshua Springs people don't like to be called big-eared creatures.
They are. Bats.
California mule deer. The California mule deer. The bighorn sheep is far better known from the sort of icons of the bighorn everywhere, but there's a lot more mule deer.
I've never seen a deer here.
They travel at night.
I do not. Good for them.
You can find their trails all through these mountains behind here, and sometimes you see them. I saw some today, in fact. This Christian suburban megachurch has long controlled politics in Yucca Valley.
Springs.
Yes, Joshua Springs.
I win.
I always thought it was funny that they called themselves Joshua Springs because Joshua and Jesus are the same name. And they ought to just call it Jesus Springs and just kind of skip the middleman, you know? But they didn't.
They don't want to be too obvious.
Desert Plants Calvary Chapel. Let's do it. Yes. And one more, number 10. This aircraft safety inspector moved from Venice Beach to the subterranean lair in Landers where his friend died in a shootout with San Bernardino Sheriff's deputies. We're looking for the name of the aircraft safety engineer. George Van Tassel met Frank Kreitzer, who was known as Straight Road Kreitzer in Landers because without apparently any official engineering knowledge, he could cut roads that were totally north-south straight. And when he died in a shootout with the cops, all of his furniture was made of dynamite. And this is 100% true. The cases of dynamite that he used in mining, and he put Mexican blankets over them to make them, cozy things. And when they shot in, the dynamite went off, and boom. Thank you, everybody. And boy, does Isaacs and across the great Mojave wilderness. This is Desert Oracle Radio, and I'm your host, Ken Lane. The soundscapes on this program are composed and performed by RedBlueBlackSilver. I hope you like Trivia Night, because you just heard Trivia Night. I hope you played along. And I hope you're having a good holiday. If it's still the holiday when you're listening to this show, many people listen on a podcast. Lots of people visiting the desert national parks all across the Southwest. Roads are a little busier than usual, so be careful out there. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I saw the most near accidents I've ever seen in one day in Yucca Valley, and that's saying a lot. Yeah, people hauling off-road vehicle trailers, sailing through red lights as the cross traffic is already in the intersection. You got the Airbnb renters walking their little dogs in the middle of busy roads. Don't leave your brain at home, folks. You're gonna need it out here. Maybe more than at home. Hey, there's no LA show on December 2. Another disaster out there. Sorry about that. But there's the first ever Desert Oracle opening for a rock band show with the band Earth on December 1st. That's the last one. I'm done with all this. I need dignity. Good night from the voice of the desert.